So I just got a new guitar. It's a very special guitar. But before I tell you the wonderful story behind this guitar, about who made it, all of the nerdy specs, let's listen to what it sounds like. So this is a Raymond Guitars OM14. It has koa back and sides, and it is some of the nicest koa I've seen in my life. Oh my god, look at that. It has an Adirondack spruce top, it has a mahogany neck, and it's just glorious. But first, let me tell you where the story of this guitar began. So I get to teach dozens of wonderful guitar students who live all around the world. It's one of my favorite parts of my job, is getting to connect with people I never would meet in everyday life and, connect over music and the guitar. I think it's beautiful. And one of said students happens to be a guy named Paul. Paul makes beautiful acoustic guitars. And he pitched me the idea a couple months back of what if he cut me a deal on one of his beautiful guitars. And in exchange, I use it on my YouTube channel, and I record him some really nice demos and playing examples of his guitars so that he has them to show, so that hopefully more people, want to check out his guitars. And I thought about it, and it was a little bit tough of a decision to come to initially, because as a professional musician, I almost never use the acoustic guitar professionally. I think I've played 2 gigs on an acoustic guitar in the last 5 years. Hopefully that will change now that I have this. But I tend to be an electric guitarist by trade, even though I actually think about the electric guitar almost like an acoustic guitar. I don't use a ton of effects. I usually just like a really lush, full, clean sound. And I've always loved the acoustic guitar. I always played it a lot at home. And the guitar I had before this was a beautiful Martin 00017. It was a glorious guitar that I got for a really good deal used. And when I got that guitar, I thought, that's probably it. That's the nicest acoustic guitar I can justify having. But when Paul pitched me this idea, I thought, there's a couple things I don't like about the Martin. There's a couple things, like, if I sold that, I could make back most of what Paul's asking, maybe. And then I can get something that I'm really, really happy with. And so I thought it over for a day or two. I ran it past my wife and got the all-important all clear. And I told Paul, let's do it. And that's where Paul comes in handy here as well, because he was so incredibly inquisitive, and he really cared about making sure that I was happy with the guitar. And it was a really fun kind of collaboration. I look at this guitar, because while it was a custom order, and at the end of the day I did tell Paul what to do, I left the door open in that I don't have, again, because I don't really consider myself an acoustic guitarist, I don't have a bunch of super hard-won preferences. Like in an electric guitar, I know exactly what I want. In an acoustic guitar, I haven't played enough to know. And so I deferred to Paul's judgment a lot throughout the process, and the resulting kind of guitar is so incredible I can't even believe it. So the first thing that I kind of deferred to Paul on, I told him that it needs to have a spruce top. In my limited time playing really nice acoustic guitars when I used to work at a guitar store, I learned that cedar tops sound really, really good with my playing if I'm playing soft, but if I get excited and dig in, it kind of craps out. So I'm just a little bit too excitable for such a thing. And so here we have an Adirondack spruce top. And then when it came to deciding the back and sides, he said, I can do basically whatever you want, but I have this koa in that rings really, really well. He was like, it's some of the best ringing wood he had in his shop. So he recommended we check out the koa. And I did some digging online and watched some demos where koa kind of sounds in between mahogany and rosewood. Again, this guitar's still kind of settling in. I got it less than a week ago, so I don't know how the sound will change, but oh my god, does it sound incredible right now. So hopefully it only continues to sound better. But check out this beautiful flamed koa, back and sides. It's absolutely stunning. And then it also has a nice little touch. He's got a koa pickguard. And this is one of the things about Paul's guitars that I admired of the ones that he posted before he made this, and I especially admire now that I can hold it, see it, smell it in 3D, is he has so many beautiful, elegant little touches. The care for detail is incredible. And so we got a Koa pickguard. Now, the next area that we can talk a little bit about is this fun little inlay where some of my students have said, oh, is that Squid Games? No, this is Paul's thing, this triangle, circle, and square. Or sorry, triangle, square, and circle. And he'd made one for his son where I think it was Wenge back in sides. And he had these, so that's a dark kind of wood, not a reddy brown like this. And he had green inlays in it. And he asked me, he said, well, do you have any color preferences? And I said, well, my wife's Chinese, and red is a symbol of kind of good luck. So why don't we throw a little piece of my wife's heritage in there? And I love the way that it looks in with this again, reddy brown Koa. And then the other kind of fun touch with the red, here, there's a firecracker inlay at the 12th fret. And we did this because we are both huge Julian Lage fans. And in one of our lessons, we looked at Quiet Like a Fuse. And we looked at what Julian was doing on that. And so he wanted to incorporate it somehow. And I said, you know, the 12th fret or maybe a headstock thing would be a really, really beautiful kind of way to put that in. And he continued with the red inlay, which I think is gorgeous. And that's why he's dubbed it the Firecracker. I'm calling it Fuse the Firecracker, Fuse for short. Absolutely, absolutely beautiful. The other kind of nerdy specs we can get into, the neck again is mahogany, and it has a stripe of royal blackwood. Now, royal blackwood, I learned from Paul, is actually a fake wood. It's actually purple heart. It's just roasted. And when you roast purple heart, it turns kind of an ebony sort of color. And that's also what the bridge is made out of. It's what the fretboard is made out of, because apparently Paul's been having some trouble with ebony blanks. And this is something that I've heard from other guitar builders, is that the stock of ebony is not what it once was. And so royal blackwood is the kind of current, I guess, favorite to replace it. And so it's royal blackwood. You can't see it super well, but there are inlays in here if I pull the strings out of the way. These kind of reddish brown, and I believe he told me these are Bolivian rosewood. The neck is also bound, the fretboard. I don't know how well that shows up in the light. If you can see that reddish kind of brown tint, it's framed in that, again, Bolivian rosewood. And as you kind of go through the guitar, there's so many beautiful little details. Like, for example, this rosette is real wood. It's not a fun graphic design. It's spalted poplar, again framed with Bolivian rosewood. You can see actually on the fretboard there, at the top, the Bolivian rosewood there. And then the binding, this is insane. He told me this is dyed blackwood, probably poplar, and then maple and mahogany. So he has made this custom binding. I don't know if I can get it to focus in the light. There we go. So every single slice of that is real wood that Paul cut up and glued together and then bound a guitar in, which is an amount of work that I cannot even imagine. And then as you keep going up, we have a beautiful faceplate up here, more Bolivian rosewood, more royal blackwood, a little touch of Koa so that we keep it kind of coming through as the truss rod cover. And then as you flip it back, we have a very healthy volute on the back of the neck. And we also have these beautiful open gear black and gold tuners. I love the way that this thing looks. Bone nut and saddle, I presume. I didn't clarify that with him, but I'm sure that's what it is. And I think we have some nice ebony, maybe they're royal blackwood, but we have wood pins down here as well. One other thing that I've been loving about this guitar that I was kind of surprised by, or not surprised by, but again, this feature is less known, is it actually has a sound port on the top. So hearing this guitar sitting down, I get so much more kind of, I don't know, it sounds more alive would be the experience. Like when I used to play my Martin, I would know that it sounded good, but now I feel like I have like a 3D kind of grasp of what this thing sounds like. So I was singing Paul's praises on his attention to detail and his care in the tiny little details, like the little nod to one of our favorite guitarists, nod to my wife. And again, the thing that I really love about this is that all of the little eye-catching wood bits that he does are very subtle. You know what I mean? It's a very, very grown-up kind of refined kind of thing. But one other thing that I love that he does, and is now his kind of brand signature, is his headstock is a little bit asymmetrical. He's got a little line. So a lot of acoustic builders just seem to kind of copy the Martin headstock, which is a great iconic design. But one of the things that I love about this is that he even ties it in up here. So the neck, it's symmetrically asymmetrical. So the longer side up top is shorter on the bottom end of the guitar. The other thing that I should mention about Paul that was incredible, this neck is the best acoustic guitar neck I think I have ever played. I have really long fingers, big hands, and I always find that acoustic necks, I get why it happens. Companies try to kind of split things down the middle and have the Goldilocks neck that'll work for everyone. And for me, it usually means that it's too skinny and it's weirdly kind of flat in the back. And I love a nice kind of round, full neck. If I'm reaching behind the neck, I want my thumb to have something to grab. And so the amazing thing about this neck, that I still can't believe how well all of this actually worked out, is when I took it out of the case, I even looked at my wife and I went, this feels incredible. I can't believe this happened. But Paul nailed kind of the profile I told him. I told him I don't want a V-neck. I want it to be round, but I want it to be, thick and meaty. And he shaped this beautiful guitar neck by hand, and it feels absolutely incredible. It's very, very close to the neck on my main electric guitar, my Kinnell arch top, where this too has a similarly beefy, really, really round neck. And Paul worked with me. He sent me photos while he was kind of working on the neck profile of maybe you've seen those little like blue feeler gauge things, or not a feeler gauge, but anyways, he sent me photos of it and we kind of went back and forth, and it resulted in a guitar that once I picked it up, it just feels perfect. So if you happen to be looking for an acoustic guitar, please check out my buddy Paul. He does absolutely incredible work. He's a really nice guy. And again, I kind of took a punt on this thing, I guess, where I went into it thinking absolute worst case scenario, I will get a guitar that is as good as my Martin, surely. And on the other end of it, I've gotten a guitar that I don't think I could be happier with. It's absolutely, absolutely exceeded all of my expectations, and I can't put the damn thing down. I keep picking it up after dinner, and then all of a sudden it's 11 p.m. So thank you, Paul, for your incredible work on this. I hope the videos that I produce and the demos and stuff that I do on this will do this great guitar justice, because it is absolutely stunning. So if you enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe. I'm linking to Paul down in the comments on Instagram if you want to check out his stuff. Even if you're not in the market for a guitar, just throw him a follow. He's a great guy who doesn't like looking at great guitars. And if you want to take a guitar lesson with me, there's a link to get in touch with me down in the description. I'd love to work with you on whatever's troubling you on the guitar. If you're looking for a way to support me and what I'm up to here on the channel, you can check out my Patreon, linked down in the description. It's a wonderful little community of guitar lovers. I'd love to see you over there. If you're looking for a different way to support me and what I'm up to, you can check out my ebooks and my video courses, also linked down in the description. It's a great way to get some more in-depth educational content from me than I can go into in a 10 to 15 minute YouTube video. And last but not least, I have new videos coming out every single Monday and Thursday, so I hope I'll see you in the next one. And until I do, I'll wish you a wonderful day, and I hope you have some fun playing the guitar. Thanks.